90% of consumers read online reviews before visiting a business. What do people see when they look you up online? We give you the tools you need to take control of your reputation. Send surveys to your customers via text message with Testimonial Collector. Get 5-star reviews on all the major platforms like Google, Yelp, and more. Track what people are saying about your business with Reputation Manager. Respond to comments and turn negative reviews into happy customers. See what your competitors' customers are saying about them with Competition Tracker. Learn great marketing tactics and what it takes to stay on top. A bigger social presence means more connections. Automatically generate and schedule engaging social media posts with Social 365. Build trust, boost sales, and grow your business.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, and we are back with another episode of the Entrepreneur Life Show. I'm Rose, your host, and also the founder of McDonald Bookkeeping Services. I'd like to say thank you to all of my faithful followers and listeners on one of your very favorite podcast channels. So if you are listening on a podcast app, just remember you can go to the entrepreneurlifeshow.com website and you can jump in on the live. You can watch it on YouTube or on Facebook, or just chat with us on your podcast app chat phone. If you are on YouTube, just remember you can chat with us in the super chat. So if you want to tell us where you are listening from or where you are watching from, I'm enthused and happy to, converse with you. Maybe you have some questions for our guest that you would like. So go ahead and jump in the super chat. Again, I would like to thank my sponsor. He has been such an amazing, amazing person. That would be Sean Maddox with Marketing Out the Box. Sean Maddox, so go to my website, entrepreneurlifeshow.com. You can check him out. You can click on his link, follow, and check out Marketing Out the Box. And be sure to subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's get started. So let me tell you, I'm so enthused today. I'm like nervous and stuff, like I'm like the person, like she's next to me or something. I've got like the nerves. But anyway, so who doesn't know who this woman is? Okay, she has so resonated with women, with me, and I know with you. She has just amazing, beautiful, sultry voice. It's like a voice you can't forget. Like Whitney Houston, you'll never forget Whitney Houston's voice. You can have 1,000 people in a room and this voice. That's how this person resonates with me. And her music is so amazing and so inspirational. I know you're going to love this guest because, man, I've been following her for a while. And she's doing so much for us, not just in the music community, but as well as entrepreneurs and women. So I definitely want to get her on the show, and then we can just jump into it. And I just want to make sure, she's actually the very first female solo artist to have 3 singles hit the #1 chart. And I know you're going to know what they are, even though she has so many more. Just let me tell you, when you're going to be as excited as I'm excited right now. I'm a little nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I am. I'm nervous. Okay, so let's get her on the show, on the platform, and introduce Miss Karyn White. Hello, hi.
Hey, Rose. Hey, listeners. What an amazing show. I love your intro, the music, and I'm like, boy, okay, I didn't know that you did have bookkeeping service and marketing out of the box. I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to be using you for a lot of things besides just this interview.
Oh my God, I'm so pleased to have you on the show, because like I'm sure as many others, you have always resonated with me with just your music is so inspirational. It's not, there's a different day and time today. Music is good today, but I don't buy anyone's music. And I think that when it comes to, and that's not being negative, it's hard to have, I have to have music that connects with me and a lot of people. And it's just like, you can go back to Temptations and, even if it's Whitney Houston or there's music that it doesn't matter what time it's 100 years down the line and you can still know this music. And that is why your music resonates. It touches people. It's inspirational. Can you, I want to start off by saying, I know you're a native of LA, Los Angeles. How did you actually know that this was for you? Because you started off in gospel, right? In church.
Yes. I'm going to say, just salute to my mother who's passed and my father and my parents and my family. My mother believed in my dream. When I was young, I've always loved to show off, and I'm the baby, first of all. My mother had me at 38, so I was oops, okay. And always love entertaining, love singing, love bossing people around, creating groups and, in the neighborhood. So kind of she knew who I was and she nurtured that. And throughout elementary, I would get in trouble. I would be humming in class, and I hate that I wasn't, paying attention more, because I should have been a better student, because I learned later on in life is that my focus and drive is really my superpowers, So I'm like, darn, if I would have been focused on algebra and geometry, right? It just out a little bit. But so always loved singing, loved performing, started in church, and then I did pageants.
Yes, I read that.
Yeah, and I had an amazing, my sister Verinda, shout out to Verinda, who was a dancer and a choreographer. So followed in her footsteps. So that's why I'm able to perform. And, we would audition for Star Search together. She would teach me choreography. So I had a good balance of being an entertainer, not just being a singer.
Yeah.
That's how it all started as a childhood, in pageants and in talent shows.
But how do I can say I can sing. But there's people who, how do you know that when you get in front of a stage, as we know, don't sing in church if you can't sing. But
tell me about it. No.
How did you make that transition?
Singing in church. But unfortunately, for me, competition, I'm very competitive. I used to be a track star as well. So I used to beat the boys playing basketball. Anything that I just had a knack for whatever I wanted to do that I thought, I could really just dive in there. Remember, talk about that tunnel vision. So singing, I started, that you can sing when people will request you to sing. Yeah, and you don't get booed, right? And I was pretty popular, in elementary, they called me, Karyn White. That's Karyn White. Isn't that crazy? Like as a kid, I was Karyn White, not Karen. So those are those things that I loved it. I loved the attention. I loved, being this person that people looked up to and this motivator and like I said, bossing people around.
Yeah.
So I realized I didn't have to always be the star, because I just love talented people, and I was smart enough to just have amazing friends that were way more talented than me. And I would just learn and grow and not be envious and root for them.
Yeah.
One of my best friends sounded like Phyllis Hyman. Now, can you imagine that? At 14, she played piano. She wrote songs. Her father and parents invested money in her, and I just soaked up all of this amazing, great talent, energy, and she inspired me. And I was smart enough to shut up. And,
right.
And just and then so God has really blessed me with a super talent to do that and not just have to be the star. So I knew she was amazing, and so I learned a lot from my friends.
Was it difficult to transition from being in the church to, your music? I would say it's very touching. I mean, are these from personal experiences from your music that makes it so? It's almost like when you hear you're singing, you're living the music. I mean, that's how it touches you.
Wow, how beautiful. For me, and I'm not going to say I'm the best singer because I really should have taken vocal lessons, but here I go trying to be boss and I told my mom, I don't want to take vocal lessons because they're going to change my style and I want to be soulful and I don't want to be this, pop. And I want to just sing, because it's very technical when you sing. But I didn't realize I should have because that's a foundation, right? And then you can add your sauce to it. But okay, I didn't, right? So I didn't. So for me, soul is what I have. And that's really what I relied on. And that's why a Babyface and a L.A. Reid would go like, wow, like you really captured this music because we believe you. And so even in talent shows, I would play Dorothy. That was really popular back in the day. Like if you Stephanie Mills, The Wiz, right? So I starred in that play, and when I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. So very dramatic. You know what I mean? So just very, so I've always been just that kind of entertainer that's gonna entertain you. You know what I mean? So like I said, not the best singer, not the best dancer, but when I got on that stage is where my comfortability was. And that was where the magic happened for me. And I love it because that's really what kind of can save you in this music game when especially coming back now and then singing this music and having to say, wow, I really have lived this stuff now. When I sing about I'd rather be alone than being happy and I'm not your Superwoman, like, dang, that's really me. Before it was, I could conjure people up and act.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo, girl. I'm like, I take it to church because I believe it and I'm not afraid of that. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of being entertainers, touching people. And I just want them to feel something and leave better or whatever it is that they're going through. That's just really important for me, them to feel me.
So what was your experience like when you first started on the road? Because I know you were in bands and on the road. And is that where people really saw you and you really got to express yourself?
Man, Karyn White on the road. They did not see that coming. First of all, and it's so funny because I'm a band. I call myself a band chick. I started out with in a group called Legacy, who was signed by one of the drummer from Switch. We love Switch. You guys remember DeBarge, Bobby DeBarge, and all the great musicians there. So they had us learning jazz fusion and rock and pop. So it was just, we'd have to perform on a high level. They wound up getting a record deal. I didn't. They wanted another singer, and this singer, oh my God, amazing. Minnie Riperton kind of singer. Great songwriter. So like I said, learned again, was just still, that wasn't my path for me. And I knew it wasn't, but, at first it hurt. But then after that, I got an audition and I got a call from one of my favorite vocalists at the time by the name of
Brian.
Boy, was he was our Eric Benet, our Prince at that time. Just voice so beautiful, but funky at the same time. Yeah. Very handsome, wrote all of his stuff. So for me to get an audition with him and Don Cornelius in the room, oh my God, I was talking about scary because Don Cornelius is, an icon, right? And, it's like his deep voice. And I remember going to Soul Train and being in line, but to have that audition to sing in front of them and to get the gig. When I was 17, I just graduated high school.
Oh my God.
And when you're on your path, it's so beautiful how God, he'll just keep sending you, giving you the signs and the doors will open. And so for me to get that gig, it was everything because I had just gotten kicked out of a band, right? So I was like, we went on the road, we opened up for Cameo, and O'Brien's band is some of the greatest musicians ever. They all play with Prince and Sheila and Earth, Wind & Fire. just the best. So I've been surrounded by some great band. And so I took that with me. Got off the road from O'Brien. We opened up for Cameo. Cameo used to watch me on the stage every night because O'Brien was so cool because you had this wild chick over there. Baby, turn Kanye, boom, back. I mean, just going for it. And it's one little singer, right? and O'Brien was so cool because he could have said, Karyn, can you please? But he didn't. And it was such a great energy. So people recognized me from, being on the road, and I learned so much. So after that, there's this wild Tina Turner, James Brown, O'Brien, Cameo, just fire. I'm a just Shaka Khan. That's what I'm inspired by. I love to really entertain you, get crazy, get funky, get soulful, get sweet, just go through all of those emotions. So when people see me live, especially since I had been away from the music industry for 18 years and I came back, I remember doing the show with Denise Williams, right? I played with Denise Williams and, one of my favorite singers, as well as Kathy Sledge and Cece Peniston. So I remember Denise Williams saying, oh boy, aren't you a ball of fire? Because you're talking about all over the stage, across and back, and I don't even know where this energy comes from. But so when people see a Karyn White show, they're definitely like, wow, okay. So that's how, we opened up, and I just take it back a little bit. Being on the first tour was with Bobby Brown. So it's kind of like I was the female energy of Bobby Brown. And we know how amazing Bobby was. Yeah. Bobby was he would tear up and down the stage. So you had me at the beginning opening it up, tearing it down. Right. And Levert in the middle, and then Bobby just bringing it on home. So we had an amazing time. We stayed on the road for about 2 years. And so
oh my God,
most people they hadn't seen me since that. So they remembered slightly, but it's a long time ago. But so for them to see me coming back into the game even more crazy and turned up, it was like, whoa, you were 23 at that time, but now, in my 40s doing this. So like I said, I love the stage.
So I have a question from someone who's viewing on the screen, and they have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So is it Juanita Madi? And I don't know if you can see that, would like to know who your most influential male and female singers are that was inspired you.
Oh, who would be my most influential? Okay, probably Prince for the male. Just because I think I can play guitar too. I don't know where that came from, but I can airplay it, Prince, and then female, man. It would have to be between, it's like I'm an alt version, because I love the sensual Diana Ross. Woo! And then I also love the rawness of Tina Turner and Ashaka. So I don't know. It's between those three. But I would probably have to say Shaka, because she's just the most incredible, she can do every genre. And to be like her, she's, that's why Prince loved her so much. And she's a singer. She's funky. She's soul. Yeah. She's jazzy. She can sing every kind of, style. So I probably would have to say Shaka.
Yeah, I saw her at the Jazz Festival last year. And, I go. And they have one coming up with Teddy Riley and a few in, I think it's Cancun or something.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. So I have another question for you on the screen.
Okay.
And that is Shema Daniels. I don't know if you can see the questions.
I can if I have my glasses on, but I'm trying to.
So her question is, Karyn is a singer, done acting, a businesswoman, and we're going to get into that, you guys, including now having your own label. So she wants to know what's next for you.
Trying to manage it all without, being so tired. And I realized that I love to be challenged, but it can wear me out because I give too much. and I'm a Libra, and people say, "Oh, you guys like balance." Yeah, and when we're off balance, ooh, it is not fun. Because I give so much. I won't sleep, I won't eat, and I don't like that. I'm like, I just, you know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to learn. I've been learning this quarantine about, stocks and index funds and retirement stuff, and then starting to label, and then still dabbling in my real estate. So I'm kind of
talk about that.
a little bit. So I gotta look. I'm trying to balance it out.
So I want to know how, because you have worked with some extremely influential people, some of the biggest names, and not everybody has the opportunity to have that you have, and L.A. Reid, and I mean, I want to know how that came into fruition, because I don't think there's anyone that isn't a big name or influential, producer, artist that hasn't sought you out.
Woo. I wish I would have. I needed you, Rose, and I needed you in my life. When I had everything, and yet I didn't feel like it was enough. I felt like I was comparing my life to what others, I want to be here instead of appreciating the things that I did have. And God really sat me down, you guys. It's like, when you don't, and it wasn't even like I wanted to be this unappreciative. It was just me feeling like, oh, I should be doing more and more and more.
Yeah.
And that's really not good as a woman. And you guys know what I'm talking about. We can get very, where it's like, oh, it's cool to be all these things, but it's like, okay, but are you doing it well? You know what I mean? We like the praise of being a
yeah.
I wasn't. I was like, I'm not doing it well. I have an AM and a PM nanny, right? And I didn't raise my daughter like this when I was married to Terry. And I was like, my mother, I didn't want to be this kind of mother. And so when he was just as busy as I was, Terry, being a legend, an icon, a producer. So it really made me step back and just try to appreciate my journey. And I kind of got off. What were you asking me? Oh my God!
No, I thought you were talking just like how you ended up, L.A. Reid and Babyface, because let me tell you, your singles went like that.
Yeah. Blessed, very blessed, very having a great work ethic, not having to be a diva. Going in the studio, being humble. I've always been like that. Just like, okay, I'll come to the studio. They would use me for their backgrounds, LA and Face and Daryl. With I'm on all those records, Bobby Brown, Roni, and Pebbles, and Sheena Easton, all these artists that they work with, they would use me as background vocalists. And, timing and just, like I said, just being driven. LA was such an amazing time. It was such an amazing time to be in the business at that time. And I was just Jeff Lorber. I think it was just me, faith. My faith was so strong. Like, why did I think I would make it? At 18 years old, I recorded a song that I co-wrote with the late great Robert Brookins called Automatic Passion for Stephanie Mills. And I put together a band, and the money that I made from that record, instead of me buying a car, I produced and put it back into myself. So I had a lot of great business principles from my parents. And I think I'm going to just have to really say I had the most amazing praying family. My grandmother would have, my grandmother was a pastor. She was funny. She had her holiness church and, and this is so funny. I would be, just as a young girl, I was just like an anomaly kind of. I would have a slumber party and then I'd start praying and everybody, I'm like all these people, even though it was like popular, but I was like, I love the Lord. You know what I mean? He was really present in my life and people knew that about me. So I believe that it was just those principles of just standing on God's word and being faithful to it.
Do you think that, is there anything that you, looking back now, because you started so young and you started with, you know, some very strong people in the industry that you would have done differently, like maybe waited and kind of, you know, because you've done other things, as we're going to get into your entrepreneur and business venture, you obviously had other passions. So would it have been something like maybe I would have waited, I would have done differently?
If I would have waited, yeah, I definitely feel like I wish I would have gone, like I said, gone to school and gotten, not even so much college per se, just the business side. I wish I would have understood just how to have financial literacy, because they don't teach you that as an artist. And
Right.
I had a really great, you know, my manager at the time was Larkin Arnold, who was the president of CBS. And he was, you know, he's the one who signed Michael Jackson and Luther and Natalie and Sade. So I had strong people. But I think that, like I said, just the financial literacy, knowing how to make money, and then, you know, like I said, invested in real estate and other things like that. Whereas to me, I wish I could go back and I would have done things over. I would have went in and, you know, and not moved away from the hood. I would have bought property, and I would have never sold my mother's house. And I just would have had a Superwoman Foundation back then and just been really just empowering my community more.
And, you know, I hear that from quite a few, you know, artists that I have interviewed have all said the same thing. That, you know, they would have been more business oriented.
Yes.
And that being said, because I know you left the industry for a while because you actually had these other ventures, which I was kind of like, I didn't, it doesn't surprise me that you got into like design and a foundation, because artistic people are always in some type of the design field. And I find this to be popular. People don't even know that. And so I wanted to talk about, you know, your foundation and your empowerment of women. People may not even realize, because, well, I found that it didn't surprise me because of how I followed you.
Wow.
So if how that transition happened for you. I mean, you know, what made you say, you know what, this was my passion. This is what I want to do.
Right. Well, you know, I've always sing songs to empower women, and my whole journey, make them do right. You know, like these songs were definitely not showing the weak side of a woman. Not that I lived up to every one of those songs.
Right.
But, you know, that was my heart and my spirit and what I wanted to portray to my fan base, and which I believe I did. So stepping away from the business for 18 years, I never planned on quitting and saying, oh, you know, I'm not going to sing again. But I didn't like how my life, I was smart enough to know that you're off track, girl. Like, you have everything but nothing. You know what I mean? How did you get this? How did you get here? So I knew spiritually I had to like just really step back. And that's what I did, especially after the divorce. I moved to Sacramento. But one thing I did realize, Rose, is that I was always, it wasn't just music that kept me going, and that my talent, you know, I was a businesswoman, because I knew I would never want to sit still. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I met a woman who I bought her home, and I bought her beautiful home in Granite Bay. And this is where Eddie Murphy lived, and a lot of the ball players in Sacramento. And I hit it off with her, and she taught me how to flip homes. And she would buy homes in these distressed homes in these $1 million communities, and make them beautiful. She would, you know, pretty much not so much building it from the whole ground up, but she would do cosmetic things and understanding how to make a home feel well traveled, and like I went to Europe and bought this, and Italy, and, you know, and not just went to I don't know, Lazy Boy or whatever, and decorated it. So it felt well traveled. So she taught me all of this, and I was so blessed to learn. So I bought that house from her, and then I lived there for 2 years, and then I did a little bit more things, and then I sold it for like 30% more. And I realized, I was like, wow, this was fun, because I love to do it. I could still be at home with my kids, you know, and still pick her up from school. And so, and it was still fulfilling that side of me, that creative side. So then I just started buying more homes. So I would move into another home every 2 years. It's so lucrative, right? Because, you know,
Right.
gains, you could do this tax-free. And, you know, I've been making $250,000, $300,000. So I would be moving every 2 years. And this is when the market was great from 99 up until 2008. So every year. So, but the thing is that I just, on this little bit of knowledge, because I didn't go to college, but I was just, you know, I learned from her, and then I learned from somebody else who was trying to actually cut himself into the deal. And I was like, okay, he was a real estate agent. And I was like, well, why do I need you to give you 20%? Because he wanted me to do lease options. So I started buying homes outside of my principal residence. I started buying single family homes and, you know, and then renting them out, doing lease options. And so I realized, I was like, I don't need him. Because he was getting paid, right? He was getting paid on me buying the house. So why did I have to get 20% of the lease option? So I cut him out of the deal. So I, you know, and I started learning and then listening to, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. So I just started to realize, and before I knew it, my portfolio had grown to $6 million in real estate. I had about 12 homes, single family homes. And I, and like I said, it was just only this, I only knew one technique, but during that time, that's all you needed, right? You only needed was one technique because the market was just so great. But then the market did this, right? And I was so, you're talking about when you know that you have the Lord, when you know that you are just so blessed, because I was able to, this was my largest home I had purchased. It was 1.4. And then I did a couple of things to it and put about another 100,000 in it. And the market turned on me. And I was like, oh my God, because I didn't really need this big house. It had an elevator in it. It's just me and my right? So I'm like, shoot, this was one of those, you know, I was supposed to be moving in 2 years. And so I was so blessed to have this, what was his name? I can't even think of his name. He played for the Kings. He bought the house and everybody, it was right before everything just tanked. I mean, like this goes to show you that these you know how they have these entertainers and they have these business people, they don't really have their best, they don't really have the artist's best interest, because they shouldn't have let this guy buy the home. He paid only, I think I asked for $2 million and I got like $1 million, I got 50,000 less. And then as soon as he bought it, like maybe 6 months later, it just tanked. But God, I was so blessed to get out of that deal. Isn't that amazing? So I was like, woo! So I was like, okay. And, you know, I didn't really have the back end worked out. So, and it's the craziest part. I'm like, I knew how to buy homes, how to do the lease option, how to do the capital gains, but I didn't really have the strategy right. Oh, so I sat back a while and I just said, okay, I'm just going to sit out because I had to learn more. So I started learning in 2009. And then I got back into the business. I was inspired to get back into the entertainment industry, to do reality shows. So I met with this young guy, and he said, I got a $50 billion plan, and I believed him, right? So I got excited, moved to Los Angeles, and we started doing we did a project on the Silvers. You remember the Silvers?
I sure do.
Yeah. Yeah, blood fever. Dum, dum. So we did a reality show and almost got picked up, but we kept having problems with our stars in the show. But I learned a lot. So then I got into the film business. I started taking lessons and then got back into the music business, because every time I would go to these I would go to these meetings, they would say, Karyn White, we want to do a reality show on you. I'm like, it's so funny because I was running from my legend and my whole greatness because I lost faith. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys don't need me. You got Beyonce. What do you need me for, right?
Yeah, but that's not real reality.
Yeah. So
I
got back into the business back in 2012.
So do you think that, was it the real estate venture that drove you to like the interior design part of it? And then
yes. I forgot to say that because Joyce, the lady who taught me, we actually had we were going to do a reality show too. She taught me the interior design part, which I loved, and as well as when I was with Terry, we built this 20,000 square foot home out there. So I learned from the best interior designers and also architects and all that. So yeah, I love that part of it. I love, you know, I had a little antique shop in Sacramento. I forgot to say that part. Yeah, look, I've done a lot of stuff when I was away. So even though I wasn't singing, you guys, I was still being creative. I just had stopped believing in myself, and I just, I lost my love for singing again, And I didn't really, I think, and it's called resistance. It wasn't so much I lost my love. I believe that fear took over. And I never knew what that felt like because I was this fearless kid. You know what I mean? So I realized, I was like, that was called resistance. I was making every excuse not to sing. Oh, my daughter's, I'm working with my daughter. I got to be here. She's going to, she's going to college. She's going to high school, junior high. Then I ran out of excuses when she went to college because I even tried to talk Terry into having her stay in Los Angeles. I'm like, darn it. But she, he's like, no, I want her to go away. She's going to Howard. I want her to, go to this school, what is it called? HBCU. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Look, now it was like I got stripped down and the guy was like, okay, now what's your excuse? So, yeah. So I started back singing and oh my God, I was so healed through this music. And it showed me like everything that I was supposed to be doing, like the alchemy, that book, The Alchemy, about your personal legend. You can do things. The Alchemist, the book, but what is your personal legend? So when I would go on the road and when I went to Japan and I got off the plane and I'm seeing all these signs at the airport. We love you, Karyn White. And just this whole mob of people in Japan. I'm like, oh my God. I'm crying because I thought people didn't care about me. I'm like, they don't care. You know what I mean? I've been, how the R&B business is. A lot of my great friends, we would always complain about how, R&B is dead and nobody cares about us anymore. So to get off that plane and get that love, it hit me. And I was just like, thank you, God. I'm so glad. Woo! I'm so glad that I just followed, that path and got back into it. And it has been very fulfilling being back in music again.
I have to say, that with today's music, it's changed a lot. And so, of course, I'm in my 50s and I don't, like I said before in the beginning, I don't think it matters how old you are. Even people with my children who are in their early 30s are still listening to music I listen to as if it's new.
Wow.
And I think that because how it resonates with your soul, really. And so and you have to have a connection with it. It told a story then. Now it's just like a hook and a beat. So, and how you got people to get it on the radio station, it was a challenge to now it's just like social media. You get it out there. So I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on, right now they have, it seems that it's much easier to get your music out there than before I'm assuming, politically play the game to get it on the airways versus now it's like, I can just put it on YouTube, get a lot of views and have a hook and a booty twerk and it's a hit.
Well, look, no, it ain't. I don't know who told you that. I spent over my first album called Carpe Diem, which was an amazing, incredible album. I think I spent like over $50,000 at radio, and it got to like top, I don't know, 30, top 20. So that was a game there. Even though they say it's not as simple for us legacy artists. I don't know why. I do know why. I just don't think that we respect our culture enough. Like, like other cultures. Like, it's like you become a has-been versus an icon, someone to be reverenced. Like, white folks, how they'll love a Cyndi Lauper or Madonna, whoever, Bette Midler, you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas we just throw our culture, we're just so used to like the respect level. And I'll say that even when I'll say that too, because a lot of the young artists would do my songs when I was gone, which is great. You know, LaToya Luckett's and one of my favorite, what's her name? Heather Headley. But, you know, it's just like they didn't want to give a respect to me. And it was weird to me, like a Shaka Khan, or, you know, I remember, and a Diana Ross. I mean, I just had such a respect, but it's just, I don't know, it became to where it's like, well, I'm better than her versus she opened the door. You know what I mean? I opened the door for Beyonce. Janet opened the door. These, you know, and this is what I feel like we just need to appreciate, and that's what's missing. A lot of, we just don't really appreciate the legends that came before us. We don't have that appreciation. But that's why I'm so big in South Africa and in Europe and in Japan, is because they see it. Yeah. As it has been. They see it as they call it evergreen artist, meaning your legacy, your music lives on. And that's what's missing. And I hate that about our culture. I don't know why. I do know why, but I don't know if I want to get into that subject. Why? I believe it's been socially engineered music to do that.
And, you know, I've read where, you know, some articles on even now more than I'd say, you know, in the past, that when it comes to the marketing and the media, they like the controversy. So it's easier to put out that music and sell it versus music that is more inspirational, because, you know, it doesn't bring drama. It doesn't bring, you know,
look, I can give them some drama. Y'all want some drama? No, I can't give you no drama. All I'm going to give you is something to think about.
Yes.
But, you know, it's okay, because the whole point is that where I'm at right now, Rose, is that find your own tribe. Yeah. That's where it's at. And that's what I've learned from people like you and all these amazing YouTubers out here that are doing it. They are finding their own tribe, and that's the new world. It's not that you're going to be famous all over the world. Yeah. You know, this huge, sell millions of records, but you have a consistent fan base that will support you. And that's all I care about. And that's what I tell myself, my label, Supernova, my artists, O'Brien, and anybody other, you know, other artists, Michael Cooper, we all talk like this. Just have your own faithful fan base that'll support you. And that's really all you need. And that's really, and we need to help each other. As artists out there, we don't. I ask people to share the music. They don't want to share it. I'm sharing other people's music. I'm like, why is this catty and ugliness? Like, this is how I'm going to help you. I have a fan base. You have a fan base. Let's all share each other's stuff. And we don't need the labels. But, you know, it's like, I was able, the beauty for me was that I left the business. So I became a person. I can imagine if I would have still been in this entertainment industry, I probably would be a diva and just as crazy as some of these other artists are. They don't see the business of it. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to share with them. I'm like, we, you know, you have your name. Like Tina Turner said, I got my name.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we came together, the power of us artists, what we could really do. So I'm hoping that I can be the start of that. Even me signing, you know, the legacy artist myself, because I don't care about being famous. I tell people I want to be famous at the bank.
Exactly. It just depends on what your legacy is. Money just goes.
Yeah.
You know, how do you design your legacy to people to see you when you're gone is extremely important.
Yes. And, you know, it's just, and I just, you know, I'm praying that, you know, we just keep, you know, I have my new artists who I want to talk about through Supernova and my team. Me putting out my record back in 2012 was so different. And I used Akbar in a way. He's a hip hop artist where people go, wow, why would you sign a hip hop artist? Because I understand, first of all, he touched me musically, but I'm a businesswoman and I know that people love hip hop. That's the number one sales. I think it's like, I don't know, I forgot, but hip hop has the most streams over any right now. So I would not run away from it. And I'm just learning through him. I'm like, how do I, because for me, it's too personal. I get tired of like asking people, when I had a record out, share this, buy this, please share this, buy this. You can get like wore out, and you're just like, it can steal your soul to where you're like, oh my God, I keep asking these people, they gonna be like, okay. So, but you need a team. That's what was missing. I didn't have this team. So I don't have to be out here saying it, so with our God has blessed us to have this, we have a marketing person, an A&R person, PR. And I was like, that's what was missing. So everybody does their part, and it's such a strong unity. We're a business. And so that's what I've learned. And I can't wait to put out a record on myself now, because I don't feel alone anymore out here like, hey, I got a record. You know what I mean? I get it, that it takes a village,
Do you think that that's what, from what you've learned and giving more than actually receiving is why you started your foundation?
Oh, wow. Giving more than receiving. Yeah. I just knew that, I was like, I have so much, not that, like I said, I don't have a college degree. I'm not this person, I'm not this deep person, but I have a work ethic and I've done it. I have a lot of experience that I know I want to share, especially with the younger women, because I love working with young people. So this foundation was created out of me wanting to, last year, I wanted to have a Superwoman conference. And my goal is to hopefully be able to do that as things open up. That's another thing on the plate. But, talking about, how to buy the property, how to set up your S Corp, your C Corp, your foundation, just, retirement guide stuff, just knowing index fund, all the stuff that I've learned and that I know, I just need to share it because, my daughter, she's so funny. She, I'm trying to, how it is. You try to tell your parents and I'm like, tell the people closest to you. They're like, okay, yeah, Mom, I'm busy. So I'm like, I gotta get this out. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's some people that I know that, that aren't like you. You know what I mean? But she came back around. But you understand what I'm saying. You know how the people, they take you for granted. So I definitely want to share all this knowledge and have this conference and us sit in a room and have these amazing people like yourself and, just talk about, how to be a superwoman in today's world. Not to where, we don't have it all together. That's the point. People think a superwoman means you don't know. It's about persevering. I left the business. I stopped believing. That's why I can tell you this story now, because I had to do all the work to get myself to where I believed in myself again. So that's what makes you a superwoman.
So if I could ask, so how there's a new phrase, I don't own the rights to this music. And so people are now just utilizing people's music for free so they don't get these copyright infringements. So do you think that, when I did this with lost my train of thought, but with another artist on an interview, we talked about that, that they should be getting paid these royalties for that? Or is it just like, well, they're sharing my music, people are still listening to it, so I'm Shantae Moore. I was talking about this with Shantae Moore.
Oh, Shantae, I love Shantae.
And
of course we want, there's that fine line of marketing, like you said, because, people are listening to it, but it's so unfair. Everybody wants to get paid for the work. And that's the whole point, is that, how do we make money, as artists, the great part is if you have a catalog, that is where the money comes, licensing it out. So I believe right now, I know things are changing. Kanye was a big part of Sound Exchange, and he's made us, we were able to, with Trump, he did something with the music business. We were able to get paid for more licensings on our music and streaming. So I definitely, I feel like we've given our share of give away so much music, you guys. You can go on YouTube right now and all my albums are there. You know what I mean? So I just think it's just so unfair, that we're expected to do this. But I do know that it's changing, and what we're doing right now, like I said, training your audience to where they will appreciate you and want to buy from you.
Yeah.
That's the thing, giving the value to your audience to where they're like, no, I'm going to support you. You know what I mean? And that's really, I think that's where it comes down to right now, is that we have to give value to our audience to where they, they will support you. They will come to your shows and they will buy your music.
Yes.
They bought music. I've sold a lot of records independently.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody that you haven't worked with that you would want to work with, that you would collab with today?
Yeah. Young and legends, gosh, I love Raphael Sadiq. I would definitely want to work with him as a producer. As a singer, I would love to work with Maxwell. I'd love to do something with Kanye or J. Cole or Kendrick. I like all three of them. And definitely the icons, I would love to have been on that stage with Gladys, Patty, Superwoman. I got to do that. That would have been amazing to be able to do that.
What's your feeling of still even being today, being the first woman, and say first woman period, Black woman, to have the first 3 singles to hit the top of the.
I still don't believe it. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how could that be? It's not the first Black woman. It's the first artist, R&B,
first artist,
R&B female. Because I don't think it was total. But I'm in the Guinness World Book of Records, and I still don't believe it. But I'll take it. I'm just like that. It's kind of weird. I don't get too up or too down. You know what I mean? But I'm excited, about all the accolades and just, but I'm more excited to perform in front of my audience and afterwards stay there and sign every autograph and hug you and love on you and inspire you. That's where it's at for me.
So is there like a way that if a person like myself is entrepreneur, because you have that foundation, the Karyn White Foundation, is that we could connect with you as businesswomen, entrepreneurs, and, and how do you help us and guide us? I know you were talking about possibly working on an event as soon as we get opened up again, and which would be something extremely beneficial for us women, especially as women of color, because I agree, you're right. A lot of us don't work with each other, but against each other. I think there's so much more that we can. There's enough money. There's enough business out there for us all.
Yeah, there's enough money, and it's just so fulfilling. And
yes,
woo! I mean, Black women are really. We are just some amazing people. These women are just so powerful. I'm really in awe. I'm really in awe of what we do. It's crazy, right? But I'm excited. I'm hoping that we will definitely, I want to speak to you about it. And I don't even think it has to be, I want to try to do something this year. And I would hope maybe you could help me with this too, because that would be amazing. And we just got to do it. Look, yeah. I definitely will put my name, and I would love to perform and bring some other great artists, and let's have a good time, and just really help one another. And like you said, there's enough room. The world is changing, and it will never be the same. And I definitely want people to know a shift is taking place. So I want to be a part of that new shift of us just really going after our dreams and being fearless and just helping one another, just loving on each other as women and helping each other through it. Because at the end of the day, God's going to look at that and say, what have you done? You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
yeah.
What's your purpose? It's not a solo road,
Mm-hmm.
It's so fulfilling. I got a text yesterday And she was just saying how, and I don't even remember it. And this is how you know when it's just God moving me. She told me that I inspired her. She was going to go to college, but she didn't like her career choice. And I told her, well, why would you go to college? And I said, she said, well, her parents. And I said, why don't you do what you really love? And so she wind up I encouraged her, and now she became a writer, and she was on these major television shows. She just hit me yesterday, and I go, oh my God. And I cried because I get this all the time. I don't even know. And I hate that I don't remember. But she said that she's at Loyola Marymount right now teaching and writing. And, she attributes it to me, and this me, really making her bold enough to go after her dreams. And so this is what I'm talking about. I was just like, wow, this is what it was all about. This is my purpose. You know what I mean? It's like God will send you those, because I've been having a tough time. I've been really tired lately. And God will just give you, when I was telling you those signs, and I was like, that's why I can't stop. You know what I mean? I started crying. I was like, wow, I just got to get a little bit better at, you guys, I got to get a little bit better at being a little bit more patient, because I'll try to do everything at once on a high level. So,
what about your biopic?
I know. Yeah, I know. Look, this story would be, y'all would be like, woo, Superwoman. Yeah, but the closest thing I came to that was I did a movie. I co-wrote a movie and starred in it, you guys. You can watch it on Tubi TV, as well as it. I think it's on my website for a short time. I put it up. It's called Gale in the Storm. And it's loosely based on my life. And it's about me, stepping away from the music business at the height of my career, being very successful, and then hooking up with a revolutionary music producer. And he talks me back into getting into music. Very low budget, very independent and raw. So that was the start. But I definitely will, I still got more stuff to do, but we'll definitely do a biopic. I would love to do it because, like I said, I haven't been perfect, and I just want to share, some of the stupid crap I've done. And if I can help, any other person, not to avoid those negative things that I've done in my life, and that's what it's all about. So I'll fall on a sword for y'all.
that would be wonderful. I actually did. I never thought I'd have an event, and I did my first event for Black entrepreneurs, and was very fortunate to have, Teddy Riley was there and did some speaking for me, and he actually happened to be my client too. So.
Oh, I love Teddy. Actually, Teddy called me, texted me. He jumped in my DMs and told me we need to work together.
Yeah. And a few other artists, which was really wonderful. They were able to, Stone Paxton from the original Stone City band. And so it was really to see their journey. And so I think a lot of people don't, they just see people like yourself as they live this life of just elaborate and, travel and glitzy and glamour, not realizing that, they have their journey the same as we do, just on another level. And there's other things that they aspire to, just because we see them on TV. So it's wonderful that you could share some of that. I mean, that's really touching.
And that would be kind of cool, because most artists, the only person I can kind of compare myself to is Tina, because, Tina got out of the business and had to start over. And most people haven't. So I think I even beat her, because I was gone for 18 years and had the nerve to come back. Well, I had the nerve to come back and say, let's get it, y'all. Come on. No, it's life is a journey. So like I said, I'm excited. I think it would be a really cool what is it? Biopic? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. I always look for certain ones for entertainers, is why I asked an artist.
Right.
And so that's, and there's people I want to see, because I take the word, like most of us, they say who these divas are. you know, no disrespect to certain people today. I just don't know how they got to they're a diva, and they haven't been through the journey. They just had a whole bunch of hits.
Right.
So I don't know how it makes you, I don't know, a diva.
Look, make you a diva, because look, that's all you know. That's all I know is hits. Like, no, lose it all, then come back. That's
Exactly.
Now you can talk to me.
Right.
And
exactly.
That's so funny, because when I say that on stage, I say, you know, I used to, you know, I'm talking about being a superwoman is persevering, overcoming, going through some things. But today when I sing this song, and then I go into early, you know, it's a whole other meaning. And, although, you know, I do hate that I left, but in a way I don't, because I grew up. I was, you know, I had everything. So for me to, you know, it just really made me such a stronger woman. My faith is stronger. And I'm excited about who I was. Still got to get out of my introvertness. I'm a little introvert. I love this side, but I can also be just as quiet and by myself. So it's like, I got to work on that, because for social media, I'll be going high. Woo! Posting every day. And then it's like, I have to keep posting. I'm tired now. So y'all hanging there with me. Trust me. I got my little woo. I'm like, I don't really have nothing to say. I'm working right now.
Well, I really want to thank you for just, you know, accepting my invitation. I know my listeners are just loving this. I'm loving this. I know there's so much more in depth, and you have so much more to tell and to show. And, you know, I really, really appreciate you. I'm definitely, I wouldn't say, I think a fan is very limited of the word. I just appreciate your music, your person. And so you're very inspiring, I think, for like you said, the women that I resonate with. They are the ones that give the path to do things like this.
Wow.
And so it's very, you're very inspirational. So I'm waiting to see more. Always looking to see more, and I'm sure my fans are as well, or my followers. I don't have fans, I follow.
Yeah, so, your followers, huh? Well, thank you, Rose. It's been a pleasure. It's been really fun. It was very, I opened up, and it was good for me to just be free here today with you and just have fun with your audience. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And so follow me, follow my artist, Akbar the Great, Akbar the G8, as well as Karyn White Official on IG, Facebook, and Twitter. And hopefully I'll be doing a live show for you guys that I'll be putting together soon. And I'm excited about that. So then you guys can see it from home, because I'm not, you know what I mean? I want to do it. I know I never did it. Everybody else has been doing their shows. So I'm like, it'll be fun to do it. So look for that this summer, and sign up, please. So you guys will be the first to know. Karyn White, Karyn, white.me.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for everyone who has been listening and who has been commenting. I appreciate you. Just make sure that you subscribe, and you can see the interview on the replay live if you go to the webpage, entrepreneurlifeshow.com, or on YouTube on the replay, how to connect with Ms. Karyn White. And maybe she'll, connect up with you. And if you're listening on the podcast, on the replay. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. White, again. You're so lovely. Yeah. And yes, I actually pay for the music that I download. So to everybody, see you next time, you guys. Bye, everybody.